The Silent Samples has released one of the world's first dynamic music artist apps. Interact to change the path of the song, or simply sit back and let the app provide a dynamic experience for you.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, that may go to, I also think that maybe, and I know I'll get pushback on this, but I think, okay, so when you listen to this stuff, that the fidelity on that is not amazing. The performances are great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the older stuff, the Motown stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's part of its charm, though, kind of.
I mean, so I think that maybe I would like to see what happens if we take a step back from using recording to perfect our art and just using recording to capture our art. And I think that if you're not, this is theory at this point, but I feel like if you're not thinking you're in the studio to perfect something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that budget thing can change because you can capture anywhere. You know, you can capture, and I understand fidelity will suffer a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But my gut says that a little bit of trade-off on fidelity for a little more of obeying the muse and performing in the moment when you're actually there, that having some flexibility on that. So maybe you're not going into the studio all the time. Maybe you're tracking some of this stuff at home after the fact, and maybe it's not perfect, but you mix it in pretty well. And, you know, if the performance is there, you'll overlook a lot of problems with fidelity. I mean, if you listen to old, like, Chess record stuff, like, you know, Lead Belly and things like that, you have to overlook a lot of faulty recording. But you'll listen because you hear the performance.
Right.
And so I don't think perfection is, and I feel like a little bit of hypocrite because I worked in a studio. I get the value of it. Don't get me wrong. I put out because I worked in a top level studio in Austin, but I think we overplay that part of things, and I think it gets rid of some. I think we actually lose some of the humanity in the songwriting by focusing too much on the recording tools and that working towards that perfection. And so I'd like to see us put out some things that maybe are a little rough around the edges, but got some really some good soul to them. Some really good.
That's a highly retro way of thinking. I definitely agree with you. The technology has moved us towards polishing to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
We polished out the soul. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm just wondering what type of seismic shift would have to happen in our model to get people to think that way again.
Well,
in terms of the gatekeepers, the people that are making decisions. You know what I mean?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, the gatekeepers aren't doing great right now. So why do you want to tie yourself to a horse that's dying? You know, I mean, like, if and again, it hurts me to say this, but I mean, studios are basically surviving on synchronization rates, mostly. That's become the new source of income for a recorded track, because otherwise it's all loss leader. It's marketing. You know, you're putting out an album of your tracks. You're pretty much marketing. You don't really make money on it. You can make money on the songwriting part of it. You're not
publishing, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to make money on the recording part of it, I don't think, anymore. So what I'm trying to do, and it's a stretch, but I'm trying to see what happens when you start to think more about the song and less about the recording, and see what market evolves out of that. You know?
Now do this for me. Give me a 15-second elevator pitch of your app and tell me what you call it and exactly what it does. Give me the 15-second elevator pitch version. Go.
Okay, I will do my best. This is something I haven't done before, but okay. So the app is the Silent Samples, put out by my company Volcanoes for Hire. The putting out music in a form of an app allows me to update the music. It allows me to have the music be interactive, and it allows the music to be dynamic. So I can touch an icon and it plays a different instrument that I recorded, a different performance. Mm-hmm. I don't do anything and it plays a different vocal. This month, I'm going to try to push out an update with a guest vocal, and people who have the app will hear that. So in a nutshell, I think that it's a new source of revenue, and it's a new canvas for the art.
Okay, so this is my app, the Silent Samples. I wrote 2 songs for it, Houdini and Some People. So I'll show you a couple different ways that the music can be dynamic. If we go into Houdini and we press play, the first thing that'll happen is I'll get an option to choose an instrument, and I'll pick piano this time, and the lead line will be on piano. Now if I went back in and I played it again, and I selected the square wave, that's a synth, so this time you'll hear it played on a synth. So that's an example right there of a completely different performance that's laid into the mix, and you can just sort of interact with the song, and you can do that throughout. And then in Some People, I have a dynamic verse so that it could be different every time you play it. So we'll play it this first time. A factory Factory Open was the first lyric. The engine fires. Next time we play, it's the engine fires. Play it again. The sun is rising. And you never know what you're going to get. It's just kind of a different experience every time you listen to it. So that's just a little example of some of the dynamism you can get. And there's kind of creativity is your creativity is the limit.
All right, Matt. So tell me this. Tell me either. What do you think is the best way to make money in this current market? And or tell me what's the best way you made money in your career?
Okay. If you are a songwriter that is also a performer like I am, focus on your real fans and give them the lion's share of your attention, because they are the ones that are going to support you, and they are the only way you're going to have a career. I would say focus on them, and I would say realize that we are moving away from selling products, and we are moving towards selling experiences. The idea of selling a song as a physical product is done. The genie's out of the bottle.
Right. We're not going back.
Live revenue is doing pretty well. And vinyl is on the rise. Now, vinyl is not on the rise because it sounds better, no matter what everybody says. Not on the rise because of some hipster nostalgic movement. Uh-huh. I think it's on the rise because it's a meditative act, and we do too much clicking, and just we're too busy. Mm-hmm. And vinyl lets you slow down and appreciate music. So it's an experience. That's why it's doing well. It's an experience. It was a product. Now it's So think about how you can sell yourself as experiences. If not doing apps like I'm doing, try to think outside of that. I'm not selling things, I'm selling experiences. And I think that you'll do better.
That's incredible. Incredible. All right. Well, Matt, I want to thank you for being on the show today. You know, like I said, when we met, I just love your stuff. I love those ideas.
Yeah, going to that Hypebot thing was one of the best things I've ever done. Sitting down with you and Randy and Jason from the Indie Survival. Yeah. They just, just great stuff, and great meeting you, and I just click, and I look forward to seeing you again too.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, we're pushing everything forward, man. We got to innovate. That's what we do.
We're artists. We're artists. Break the rules.
That's right. What rules? That's right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now tell everybody where they can find you online and include social media.
Okay, so my website for my company is volcanosforhire.com. That's volcanoes spelled OS, not OS.
Okay.
And my Twitter is VFHire, and really all my contact information is on the website. And then the app is the Silent Samples, all one word, on the iTunes App Store.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being a guest on the show today. It was great to have you.
David, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.